It often takes an autumn to know how beautiful was the spring. The seasons remind us of the life that we often forget to live, aimlessly chasing the hands of a clock, while true happiness lay famished within the reach of our palms. Hi all, this is Anshu Jain, and you are watching the fourth episode of The Routine Smile, The Flowers in My Garden. The Routine Smile, an effort aimed at exploring your options to smile through the dimensions of challenges, presented to you by Qatar Indians. Well, fortunately, here is one more chance for us humans to see the world's beauty again. And my pleasure is to talk to our today's guest. She is one such person who nourished life and is making it worth a cherish and a smile. She dips her feet in the moonlight, enjoys the music of the breeze, relishes the sweetness of dewdrops, and admires the beauty of her yard proudly. I look up to her as a powerhouse of communication with a plethora of command in both English and Hindi. She is a bachelor in English literature with a master's in marketing management, advertising and public relations, mass communication, and journalism. She has a diploma in French, be it in English and Hindi, and is a well-qualified student counselor specialized in interviewing techniques from Film and Television Institute, Pune. The gods of their arts, whom she has interviewed, are just out of this world, and shows she has hosted are till date nostalgia to India's national channels. A sports enthusiast, a chef, a poet, a literary champ, a cherry on the cake when it comes to the friends gathering. Well, let's welcome the bold, beautiful, and the most graceful Mrs. Usha Ravi Shankar.
Thank you so much, Anshu. That was such a grand and generous introduction. I really will have to work very hard to make myself worthy of all those lovely adjectives. आपने खरीद के अनमोल कर दिया, वरना हमारा शुमार तो इन्हीं पत्थरों में था.
क्या बात है? Let me tell you that you deserve every bit of it.
Thank you so much.
First of all, I would like to know that how do you manage to see the world so beautifully all the time? Is it innate? Is it adapted or experienced?
You know, the answer to this is so beautifully incorporated in your question itself. You mentioned three things. You said innate, you said adapt, and experienced. It's an amalgamation, I guess, of all of this. As we are born, we bring our own personality that we own. Gradually, as we grow, we try to adapt ourselves to our surroundings. And as we grow further, we gain experience and we learn to fine-tune ourselves to fit into the society, discipline our minds, to accept and embrace our surroundings and make ourselves fine for the society, the community, and the planet in general, to become world citizens. I think what I feel is that I always tell myself that I'm not perfect. And if people can accept me the way I am, then why not I accept people the way they are? Why not I accept things the way they are? And it automatically is half the battle won. Everything appears normal, good, and beautiful. So I think it's all a mindset. It's all in the eyes of the beholder. So if we fine-tune ourselves to accept and embrace what life throws at us, I think everything looks good and positive.
Indeed. Our personality is the reflection of all the elements that have touched our lives at various phases.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Truly eager to know what new skill did you get to practice in the past few days? And what activity or hobby do you feel happiest while doing?
There are so many, the list is long. And the first thing is to declutter, not just the house, but also our minds. And I think it's not just for this phase, Anshu. I think on a routine basis, we have to, like we clean up our house and we try to make the surroundings look beautiful. We decorate it with the choicest of pieces. I think that's what we should do while working on our minds on a daily basis. We need to declutter the unnecessary thoughts, the unnecessary baggage that we carry, and try to only keep the positive things. It comes with practice. It is a lot easier said than done. It's not magical. It doesn't happen like switching the light on and switching the light off. We have to work on it. And it makes it so much easier after that. You feel so much happier, lighter, wiser, and so much in peace with yourself. So it's so important to declutter. And nowadays, when we probably have a little more time on hand, I think it's a good idea to just be with yourself, hear your thoughts a little bit, and then, introspect a bit and work on your minds, declutter it. So that's one thing I like my time with myself. And I like to do that. Of course, I still am busy with everything happening with technology in order. And I do work on these things, and it gives me a lot of happiness. In addition to that, I read a lot. I do a lot of written work. And one thing that really is therapeutic for me is to bring a good meal on the table for my family. I enjoy cooking, and I'm very passionate about using the ingredients and creating health through my dishes. So that's one thing that makes me feel very, very good also.
That we have been following. We have been seeing you posting wonderful pictures, beautiful pictures of food, the dishes that you're preparing every day on your Instagram handle. And I would like to tell to all the people who love food, who are food bloggers, if you want to get to know about some amazing recipes, they must follow you on Instagram. And I'm talking about Mrs. Usha Ravi Shankar.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anshu.
We are here talking about cooking, we are talking about family. Certainly, one term that comes here is happiness. What, according to you, is happiness? And do you think that happiness lies within you, or it depends upon other people or external factors? At the same time, I would want to know that how important is happiness when we relate it with wealth and money?
It's such an in-depth question you have asked, Anshu, and I'm glad you did, because I think happiness comes from within.
Mhm.
If money could buy happiness, everyone in this world can buy happiness, but you cannot. It comes from within, and it comes from little things. And you should be in charge of your happiness, not somebody else. Life is not about what others think about you. It's about what you think about yourself. It doesn't matter who says, can you control the world? But it's so easy, like I said earlier, to fine-tune yourself. Life is all about taking charge of yourself, of your mind, of your body, of your happiness, of your peace. It certainly doesn't come from external factors, and it definitely doesn't come from your bank balance or the richness of your income or the money or the wealth you earn. It is the riches that comes from the experience of life, of the kindness you show to others. When you are the reason for a smile on someone's face, it is so fulfilling. The happiness that you derive out of that can not be substituted with anything. So definitely happiness is the goodwill you earn in the society out of all the good things you do. The hard work you put into your work gives you so much happiness. When you achieve success through hard work, it makes you so happy because there has been immense amount of integrity that has gone into that hard work. And you sleep so well the night you work so hard, isn't it? When you have a good show and you have worked so hard for it, you go to bed thinking so positive. That is happiness. So it's all with you. It's no external factor. Watching a movie and feeling happy, or listening to music and feeling happy, all that is there, definitely. But the inner happiness, the true happiness, comes from within you, and you create it. No one else can help you. Each individual has to create it for themselves.
Ma'am, it is indeed very true that we have heard this many a times, and you have explained it so well that happiness comes from within. And it is very personal to someone. It is how we feel about ourselves. But however, many a times, happiness and success are interlinked. I would want to know what, according to you, is success. And also, if you could just share some of your experiences when you were really stressed, or when you have been at your lowest, and how did you manage to pull yourself out of it?
This takes me back on a flashback down memory lane, Anshu, when I was probably in grade 4 or 5. I remember, well, I come from a middle-class South Indian family, a Tamil family, and I have been raised with those values, and I'm very proud of my values. And I was going to this private school, and with all the smart people there, and I would be a typical Tamil girl with a well-oiled 2 plaits and 2 red ribbons here, and looking like a total simpleton. Nothing great. I don't think people would give a second look to just even feel my presence. And I would just be like that. One day in the class, I remember, it's so vivid that it feels as if it were yesterday. I was in the class and we finished our classwork, and we queued up for the teacher to correct our work. And when my turn came, I just peeped and just bent forward to see what my ma'am was going to write on my notebook. And she immediately, my hair touched her, and she pushed me and she said, "Don't touch me with your oily hair." And I can't even explain how I felt. I was miserable. I felt so horrible. I went home sulking. And the first thing, I went home and I told my mom that this is what has happened, and I don't want to go to school tomorrow. And I don't want to go to school from tomorrow onwards. My mom said, "All right, let dad come back from office and we will discuss this further. We'll see how to sort this." And I just get quiet and I thought, all right. So I was waiting for my dad to come home. My dad came home, and my mom and I spoke to him about this problem. And I said, I was crying, I was sulking, and I told him that I am not going to school tomorrow onwards. And I'm that horrible, So he said, all right, so let's have dinner early. And he didn't say anything about the topic. All he said was, let's eat early and go to bed early, because I want you to get up at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. I was more, I felt miserable further. And I said, why is dad not saying soothing words to me? Why is he making me feel more worse? And I had nothing that I could do. So I just went to bed sulking. And in the morning, my dad wakes me up at 4 o'clock. And he says, "Come, let's go to the terrace." We used to live in the government apartment, and there was this terrace. We were on the first floor, and we went up to the terrace, and it was pitch dark at 4. My dad and I were sitting side by side, and I could not even see my dad. It was that dark. And I was just sitting there, and I said, "Dad, what are we doing? Why are we here at 4 o'clock in the morning?" He said, "Just give it 5 more minutes. And I don't have to tell you anything. You will get your answers." I sat there, Anshu, for 5 minutes, and I thought, why is this happening to me? And suddenly, from pitch dark, I saw the most beautiful sunrise of my life. I saw the most beautiful dawn of my life. And I saw the sunrise so beautifully, spreading its light all over. And it brought a natural smile on my face. And I looked at my dad in amazement. And he said, "It is always darkest before dawn." And he said it with such a beautiful example. And every day I thank my dad for showing me that sunshine and that sunrise. And I knew that day that so what if people think what I am? I have to be my sunrise. I went down, took a shower, let my mom oil my hair, make the two plaits, and I stood tall and I walked with my head held high to the school. And after that, there was no looking back. We all have to find our sunrise and keep that hope going. That is happiness for me. And I think, this is the revelation that each person has to find in his or her life.
I'm spellbound after listening to this. And indeed, it's so very true that we face challenges in our lives, but those are the times, that toughest phase is what makes us what we are today. And it depends on us if we want to give up or we want to fight back. Ma'am, you are a mother of two wonderful sons, an amazing homemaker. You have done wonderful work wherever you have been. When I talk about your professional career, how did you strike balance between your personal life and professional life?
Like I said,
You managed to get that both together in place. How did that happen?
the minute you start enjoying what you do,
Mhm.
it becomes a lot easier.
Mhm.
So it's very important to choose the right path.
Mhm.
You don't have to give up one to do the other. It can go like parallel lines in your life.
Mhm.
But for that, again, you have to learn to pause one for the other at different times. You have to build your support system. You have to appreciate your blessings and you have to thank your lucky stars all the time. And the one word that you always need to remember is gratefulness. And once you create that support system around you, what happens is that just like you help your other family members, they start helping you. Everyone chips in, and you are brought up with a certain values. You pass those values on to your children, and you and your spouse together understand that you have to allow that space to the other person. That's why I always, whenever I have a conversation with Ravi or when I'm in a forum, I always say that, respect comes before love. And if that happens, then you automatically understand that just like I want to work and I want to do everything, the other person also wants to do. Getting married also doesn't mean that you put a full stop to everything. It is just that there is one more person who's there to share everything with you, and you're that much more stronger. Like you give up a few things to adjust, the other person is also giving up a few things and adjusting. As long as you remember this, it is easy. The minute it is not a competition or it is not you versus the other person. It is together we achieve our goals. What happens is that two people have goals and they kind of merge and become one. And then you walk towards that goal together. And slowly you build your friends, you raise your children accordingly, and they understand and they become more independent. What happens is when they see that both parents are working, they're working hard at home, they're working hard in their professional lives, they also imbibe these qualities. And that's how you move forward in life. You have to make these adjustments and you have to be flexible. It's just like yoga teaches you to make your body flexible. There is a mental yoga that makes your mind flexible and your thought process flexible. And that's where, again, the first point that we discussed about decluttering is important. That's what comes in here. You remove all the negativity, go forward with positivity, and try not to bite into more than what you can chew. That's where is the thin line of being ambitious and being over ambitious. I love taking a little pause when my children came into my lives. I could give them the time that I wanted to give. And that's what keeps me happy today, when they have wings to fly and they are away and they are following their dreams and chasing their passions. This is what keeps me going. So this is how life works, that I always tell myself, probably I'm deviating a bit from your question, but it is interesting to add here that when my children were born, I reminded myself all through that Almighty chose me to bring them to this world. I don't own them. They should have their own dreams. They have their own little heads. So they have their own struggles, their own ideas, which they want to give shape. So Ravi and I always blend our dreams with their dreams. We don't have separate dreams for them. And that makes it easier for them, I guess. So this is how we all, I think, work with our own systems. It's like I think a household is also like a corporate office. And that's how you run your household. Yeah. Of course, you unwind and you also chill out and do other things to relax your mind and body. But having said that, there has to be a method in the madness. Only then can you juggle between a lot of things.
As it is rightly said, that living for oneself is equally important like living for others.
Because see, charity begins at home. If you're not happy, how you don't have happiness, then how can you give it to others? It's only, they say people who bring sunshine to the lives of others can never keep it from themselves.
Exactly.
So if you have to bring sunshine to others, it has to fall on you too.
Very true, ma'am. Ma'am, we can see that you guys are all such a beautiful family, and a lot of lessons to learn from you all. But I would want to know, when we talk about the current scenario, current situation, we are hearing about a lot of crisis. I'm not talking about any financial aspect. I'm not talking about any economic aspect. I'm talking about the mental, emotional, psychological, as well as relationship crisis. Unfortunate thing. How has this situation, this phase, impacted your personal and professional life? And how are you managing to cope up with this?
Yeah, it is not an easy phase to go through. And it is worldwide. It is not just one sector of the planet which is going through this. It's all over. And suddenly, the work from home scenario has begun. And, you are not used to it.
Yes.
You're not used to it. So everyone is in the house and you have 24/7 people around you, which again, you're not used to. So it has a flip side, like, every coin has two sides to it.
Mm-hmm.
Even this has two sides to it. Mm-hmm. So I will answer your question one at a time, because this is such an in-depth question that you've asked. It has got several segments to it. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, this is a very unique opportunity for all of us to get an insight into our spouse's professional life, the stress, the challenges, the struggles they go through. And vice versa, they are able to see what we go through, how we juggle with so many things every day. So I think at the end of the road, our respect for each other will definitely grow, which already I can see it happening. Mm-hmm. Because we always imagine that we are doing the major share of the work, whether it is professional or at home. We meaning each individual. We all think that, oh, I am doing more than the other person. It's not so. Nothing is divided equally. Everything cannot in life be divided equally, right? It has to be an equitable distribution of things and a happy distribution of things. As soon as you come to an understanding, as soon as you learn a little compassion. Compassion is not just for the world in general, but also for the immediate people around you. We always think of compassion when it comes to the underprivileged, which is rightfully there, which should be there, and it is our prime responsibility, especially at such times, to extend that help, definitely. But we should not forget to be compassionate to the people around us in the house, because we find it so easy to get angry with the person you're closest to without realizing, oh, could he also be going through some stress? Am I adding to it? It's okay to let it out. It's okay to get mad at your spouse, or, share your anger with him, or he doing it with you. It's fine. Or at your children, for that matter. It's okay, as long as it is within the limit. The minute you take things for granted is where things crumble. So it is very important for all of us to learn, after a point, either you forget and forgive. If you cannot forget and forgive, it is fine to do an emotional surgery, is what I have understood. Because, again, I refer to something that I have learned from my parents. The one strong value that I have grown up with is that it is not important to please everyone in your life, but it is very important not to hurt a single person in your life knowingly.
Definitely.
It's just a question of going beyond ourselves and looking around us to just take care of all of them. If we all take charge of looking after the people who have always served us, and today is a bit of a trauma, and if we can, this is the time to share and build that goodwill, build that positivity.
Ma'am, I see you have enormous experience in life. Your values, the things that you have faced, the challenges, and all these strengths have made you what you are today. What would be one of the best experiences from which you have a message for all our viewers?
I have really had humbling experience in my life, which I would love to share very briefly with all of you. That every time when I was with Doordarshan, I had this opportunity to interview celebrities, interview achievers. And whenever I have met them, I have realized the more you achieve, the more grounded you get. And I think that has stayed with me. And that has been my biggest tool in life. And that has what kept me going always and helped me wear a smile. And I think what I would like to tell everyone is that, lead your life according to your pace. Do not race at someone else's speed, because that will get you nowhere. Go through life at your own pace, with your own energy and positivity. And like they say, this beautiful couplet, ये जुमला मुझे याद आ रहा है जो मैं अभी शेयर करना चाहूंगी. ना यहाँ तक है ना वहां तक है, मेरे ख्वाबों की सरहद आसमान तक है. So, you must have your beautiful dreams, not just for yourself, but for the people you love, for the world in general. Be good world citizens and put your best foot forward and lead life at your pace and be of service at all times, is my message to everyone.
Thank you so much,
Anshu,
for giving us your valuable time. You're sharing your experiences with us. It was such a pleasure to converse with a positive soul as yours. And I'm pretty sure after this conversation, the flowers in the gardens of many are going to be blooming for many days to come. And definitely the lessons that we have taken will spread the smiles on their faces, will extend the smile on their faces forever. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you, Anshu. So proud of everything you do. I wish you all the best. Reach out for the stars.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.